Hello, everyone.
And welcome to
The Whatever Podcast.
Why did we do it the same way?
I don't know. With Jen.
And Kirsten.
We're
We're in a new place.
in a new place.
They can probably hear everything we're saying right now. But we are actually in my apartment's, what is this? Clubhouse? Office space?
They have like rooms.
Yeah.
So
new space.
new space. Maybe new studio. Free studio for us.
Free studio. Literally, though. Literally.
Okay, guys. Today we are talking about Kirsten's wedding. Finally.
I know.
I mean,
I thought we had already talked about it. So
no, we talked about... I don't know if we've only recorded, I think, one episode since you got married. Because we've like backlogged or like pre-recorded so many. I think. Yeah. Because Yeah.
That's
Anyway.
crazy. Guys, it's been almost 3 months.
3 months. That's how much we recorded before.
That could have been actually way worse.
First things first, not sponsored, but we are
Wait, where'd the
enjoying
napkins
a
go?
nice meal. Oh, they're on the interface. Pause. We were enjoying a nice meal from Chick-fil-A. Zoom in on you. That's amazing. But also, I have beef with Chick-fil-A. We've talked about this. But
Really?
they changed their chicken.
Changed the chicken. It does taste different.
It tastes...
It really tastes different.
I don't know. It's just like more chickeny and like...
It's like the texture.
And, well, I mean, for those of you that don't know, they switched to chicken that has antibiotics in it. They're not like hormone-free, antibiotic-free anymore or whatever it was. So it like tastes... I don't know. It's just weird.
It tastes different for sure.
So I'm going to try the grilled chicken today to see if it tastes any different. But fried chicken is kind of gross. It's just kind of gross right now.
It's a little rubbery.
Oh, that's so awesome. This is what I'm doing. I'm going to put...
Ain't no way that's a piece.
Wait, no.
How many pieces did you get?
I got a 5 count because I'm making like a little salad. So technically they gave me an
say.
extra nugget.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
It looked like there was nothing in there.
Anyway, so Kirsten's wedding. You got married how long ago now? Is it like 3 months ago?
3 months in... Let's do the math. 7 days. A week from today.
Wow.
3 months.
Wait. Oh, no.
just
You
lost
guys got engaged on the 28th.
Mhm.
Okay. I was going to say you almost had the same... Because you guys got engaged a year ago next week.
Mm-hmm.
That's so cool.
Wait, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
I love celebrating all the little things, honestly. So I'm going to write that down later.
Yes. Well, I was thinking about that because on the way over here, because I was thinking about how a year ago today we were still at camp, and Ethan and I were scrounging to get everything ready for the proposal, and then it was also Joe and I's 1 year,
That's crazy.
like the same weekend, or not the same weekend you guys got engaged, but the same weekend we came back from camp. So
A lot's changed in a year.
a lot has changed. That's wild. Dang. Anyway, we wanted to just talk about her wedding and
Debrief the day.
yeah, which honestly, I was also thinking about that on the way over here. And it was such a fun day, like start to finish.
Actually, everything went pretty smooth.
It did.
There were
Well,
things, but...
There were things that I kept from you, but it's okay.
Tell me
On
about
purpose. On purpose.
it. I know some things,
That
but
is like the duty of the maid of honor, is to like make sure if things go wrong, like you problem solve for the bride. You're dripping water everywhere.
Oh, it's the condensation.
But anyway, I guess should we start from...
We can start from, well...
Because there was some stuff we did
What have we
prior
talked
to the
about?
wedding. I don't think we've talked about anything.
Like, not even
Because-
the week leading up? or
No,
anything?
because even like the last time we recorded, aside from what we recorded a couple weeks ago, the last time we recorded was with Abby. And that was the day that I went wedding dress
crazy.
shopping, which was before the week before your wedding.
Whoa.
So, yeah.
Why don't you just talk about, like, the day before and then the day of?
Yeah. Do you want to start?
I'm trying
It's
to,
your
like,
day,
think back.
so.
Sorry, I'm chewing. This is probably really good ASMR.
Oh my gosh.
But, okay, day before, Did we do our fake tan the day before?
No, that was 2 days before.
Okay. You're going to have to help me remember because I don't have a very good memory.
And I have too good a memory for dates like that.
What did we do during the day? The day before?
Day before?
Yeah.
Okay. You want me to give you the actual play?
Yes.
So
I remember the evening. I don't remember the day.
We woke up and that whole day the first thing we did that morning was we started doing our nails because we had to go to the venue at like noon to like take all of the the venue that they got married at. It was a church, so they didn't have like a getting ready room, so we had to like bring a bunch of stuff to turn the green room into a getting ready room.
It actually worked amazing because the church that Ethan now works at and I'm a part of, it used to be a horse stable, so it's super long. And it worked great because he was on one end of the building and then I was on the other end with my bridesmaids. So we had to do some revamping, more so his room than ours. I feel like ours was pretty much set up because it was the green room of the church. Yeah. So there are already like couches and things like that.
But it was just like mirrors and stuff. Yeah, like
mirrors and snacks. And we also went there and I think just kind of helped direct like where chairs were going and just like approved everything. Yeah. It was a beautiful day that day. I remember that.
It was so pretty. I think it was actually cooler the day of your wedding though, because I remember it being really hot for the rehearsal and we were like sweating. We're like, this is going to be brutal tomorrow.
And the other important thing to remember, leading up to our wedding, it was saying that it was supposed to thunderstorm on our wedding. And we were doing an outdoor wedding. We had no real backup plan. Because we were like, at this point, we just want to get married outside. We don't care if it rains. Like, we will do it in the rain.
Pictures would be beautiful
unless
either
it's
way.
like thunderstorming, then we'd have to go inside the church. So we did have like that rough plan, but ended up the day before, all it said was for our wedding day, it was just supposed to be showers in the morning for like an hour. And I don't even think it did that. It was like the most beautiful
I literally don't even think it was like not that it wasn't cloudy, but you know when it's like gloomy out, like the clouds are like gray, like I don't even remember it being like that.
No, it was like sun was beaming both days. So anyway, we were at the church and did that, and then we did do our own nails. I was gonna get my nails done, but we had spent so much money on the wedding. At that point, I was like, I just want to do my own nails and save $100.
Well, and they looked great.
You could not tell in photos that they were press-ons.
We both did press-ons.
I think if I had more money, I would have done it just for like the experience. But like as far as aesthetic, like it accomplished the goal. So yeah, we did that.
And that morning, the day before the wedding, was a little bit stressful because, one, I remember it was a work day for some people. Like you guys don't work on Fridays, but it was a work day for some people. But also, we had to get everything set up, and with all the florals, you were nervous at the florals because you just had your aunt and her husband helping out with the florals. So it was a stressful morning just trying to make sure, like, okay, do we need to have more hands on deck to help with florals?
The florals look beautiful. There was just a lot of them. Like, it was insane.
Well, for reference, you guys had like 30 something tables at your reception. They had a huge wedding. So like there were florals on every single one of those tables, all of the bouquets, the aisle or the end of the aisle, bridesmaids, and the boutonnieres.
A lot of them were not real. Well,
you couldn't tell though.
You couldn't tell, but like, I mean, all the colorful ones were real. Yeah. So like all the reception flowers were real. All of our flowers were real.
The only thing that wasn't real were the arches at the end of the aisle.
And the
I'm like, there were two picture.
There was a colorful one underneath the mirror. The photo op thing. It was fake.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that was about it. That was fake. It was a good bit of it was real.
Yeah.
Because that was really important to me. I didn't want, personally, what mattered most was like spending money on florals and a photographer. Like that was literally it. Yeah. But everyone's different. I mean, so, like you guys spent more on a venue than probably what you spent on flowers and all the things. But
yeah, it's I just remember that day. It was only the morning that was kind of stressful, and then once we got to the venue to set everything up, it was like, actually, it wasn't that day was stressful. You were a little stressed out that things weren't going to get done, and we were like, we're going to get it figured. You were a little stressed.
Wait, about what, the flowers?
No, not just the flowers, like everything, because we had to set up all of the basically the company that you hired came up came out and set out all of the like the tent and like the tables and chairs, right?
Yep.
But then the chairs that were used during the reception were the same ones for the ceremony. So like we had to set up all the chairs.
It was a lot of
and,
flipping the space kind of thing, but it worked great.
And it ended up being totally fine. There were enough hands on deck, enough that we ended up being able to leave the venue the day of the rehearsal dinner, like around the time that we said that we would. Like we weren't there very long. And then the rest of that day, we just went home and got ready. Like we got ready for the rehearsal dinner.
That's why I don't really remember it, because it was mostly just getting ready.
Yeah.
And I don't think I did much, honestly.
You did like essentially what you were going to do for your makeup the next day as like a trial again. But.
Yep. So we got ready for the rehearsal dinner. We catered in Olive Garden. I think our budget was like $600 for 30 people. So like $20 per person. And we were $1 under budget. And like what's crazy is Olive Garden was one of the cheaper places to go. Like, I mean, compared to like Taziki's was more expensive than Olive Garden, which is crazy. And it was really good. I thought it was overall like really good. And we sat outside underneath the tent for the reception the next day. So we did it under there, and it was perfect day.
Yeah, it was nice, like getting to see essentially what everything was going to be like the next day. Because like for us, we're not doing our rehearsal dinner at the venue because it's so far away. So it's like
first day you see everything.
Yeah, it was like nice, kind of getting the vibe of like, oh, like.
That's what I liked about it, having it in the same place, because I feel like on your wedding day, you're processing so much at once. And so to have another day to like process it and like soak it up. Yeah. I actually remember stuff. Yeah. I don't remember a lot of people, but I remember like the whole setup and things like that. So I loved it.
Yeah. That if we had more money in our budget, we would be doing that. But our venue, like we only have like a free 30 minutes for a rehearsal the day before. So like you wouldn't do the dinner at the venue. You would just do the rehearsal, which is great. But our venue is like an hour away from where we live. So we're like, we don't want to drive an hour there for 30 minutes and then an hour back to go to a dinner somewhere in the city. So it'll be fine. We'll make do. But that was nice from your wedding. And then that
oh yeah, okay, wait, let me talk about the moment I said goodbye to Ethan, and then we can get to that part.
Oh my gosh,
is that what you're talking about?
That, and just
it was a very emo night. Very emo night for us. So obviously I was super excited. What?
I forgot about what we did that night. Sorry, continue. That just came to me. What you and I did that night.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna talk about Ethan saying bye. Actually, our goodbye was not very emotional. I think we were just both so ready to go to bed, one, because we were tired, but also just like ready for the next day. I mean, there were like no tears, no like lingering. We were just like, all right, see you tomorrow. Love you.
Well, like the sooner you go to bed, the sooner it's there. Yeah.
So that wasn't so much emotional as much as like Jen and I's time at the end of the night, because we lived together for years up to this point. And we shared a bedroom. So like it was just a lot of change. Yeah. But I don't know if you want to talk about like your perspective of that moment. Well, because I think it hit you harder than me, because obviously like I was thinking about a bajillion other things.
Yeah. So up to this point, it was a really interesting thing, because one, like being your maid of honor, like being involved in a lot of the wedding planning process and whatnot, like I obviously had just as much as time as she did to like mentally prepare for like she's moving out and like she's getting married and all that kind of stuff. But I did not ever get emotional. I did not ever like, I don't know if it just didn't hit me or what, but when I pulled out of the venue the night of the rehearsal dinner, I lost it.
Did you drive back alone?
Yes.
Why was Joe not with you?
Because he wasn't at the rehearsal dinner. Because you guys couldn't do +1s for the
because we were $1. Unless his meal cost $1.
But yeah, so I'm driving home alone, because that was the other thing. I drove her to the rehearsal dinner. Yeah. So like we drove out there together, like Ethan. Yeah, and I get in the car, and like it was like 9 months of what I thought I was preparing for, like all just hit me in the face in one moment, and I cried the entire 30-minute drive home, like weeping in my car. And I get home, and did you beat me there? Either you beat me or we like walked in at the same time. Like we got there like pretty close to each other. And I was trying to not, I don't know, like I didn't want it to come across as like I'm sad. Like, yes, I was sad, but I didn't want it like, I don't know. I didn't want to like make you feel bad. Yeah, like I didn't want you to think it was anything like that. It was literally just like the end of a season that we've been living for 4 years, 5 years. So like it was just a lot. So we get home and I'm like trying to pull myself together. I'm like, Kirsten cannot see me like this.
I actually didn't even think something was wrong.
Yeah.
I was just like,
yeah. And well, and that was the other thing too, was like I didn't want to take you out of the headspace of you focusing on what mattered, was you getting married, and like make it about me.
That's a good friend.
So I was like, I'm just gonna suck it up and we'll talk about it when she gets back from her honeymoon about how sad I was.
That's really sad.
And so no, really it was fine.
We texted on my honeymoon.
You can't keep us apart. It's fine. But what I didn't tell Kirsten was the like couple weeks leading up to the wedding, I had decided before this, like before the wedding, that I wanted to make a video for Kirsten, kind of like, just closing again that chapter of our life. And that's something that we did a lot in college, was we made videos for each other.
Yeah, she said she had something for me, and I was like, what could it be? And then towards the end I was like, oh, it's got to be a video.
It's got to be a video,
because that's all we did in college.
Yeah. So that night, my original plan was to show you at the morning of your wedding, because we had like, we didn't have to be at the venue till like 11 a.m. or something like that. So we were going to have the whole morning together too. And after I had a little emotional fit in the car, I was like, I want to do this tonight. Like this is
it just felt right. Yeah. The vibes were right.
Vibes were there. So oh my gosh, my earring's stuck. Like, what the heck is going on? My earring is stuck behind my other earring. There we go. I think I got it. Does it look normal? Okay.
Because like, weren't we laying in bed just talking, and then you were like, we need to do this now.
I was like, I need to give you your thing. And so I opened my laptop and I showed her the video. Did you cry? I know I cried.
I think I was just when you're in that space,
yeah,
you're either super emotional or you're like, I feel too many things.
Yeah.
Sobbing right now. But
I
felt like emotional.
Yeah. So that was like a sweet moment. It was our last night being roommates, and like watching the video of like the last 6 years of our, because I like videos from when we first became friends.
You still need to send me it, unless you sent it to my laptop. Did you send it to
me? I sent it to you. It's on Instagram too, if y'all want to go watch the video. It's on my Instagram, on my Reels thingy.
I remember showing Ethan the next day.
Oh, on your wedding day?
Yeah. The day after the wedding. Like the morning after.
I was like, what? You're like, we get back to the hotel, Ethan, watch this. Anyway, so that was sweet. And then we went to sleep. We both took so much melatonin that night, because we were like, we have to knock out. But
it needs to be discussed.
It didn't do anything for me.
That's the thing. Okay, the week of your wedding, personally, I did not get any sleep. Like 5 days before, I got like 3 hours of sleep. 4 days before, I got like maybe 6, and then it would go to like 5, 6, and it all just like added up. And I was like, girl, I remember telling you, I was like, I have to sleep tonight, because I will feel horrible tomorrow.
Oh yeah, with all of your autoimmune stuff.
Yeah, and thankfully I think I got like 6.5 hours or something. But anyways,
we woke up so early the next day.
Yeah.
Well, and it's just like, it's the excitement of it all too. It wasn't
but
like,
just be aware, like that.
No sleep.
You may not sleep well. Anyways,
we woke up at like 6:30 or something, or 7, like super early. We were like, today's the day. Yeah. And that morning, I just remember, well, you share your perspective first, because I shared my perspective of the rehearsal tonight. So you share your perspective first of like the before going to the venue, wedding day.
I just remember, from what I can remember, just because it was a lot. When you are outside of like that day, it's hard to remember every detail. But what I do remember is it was a very peaceful morning. Like the weather was beautiful. We got to sleep in. I remember I wrote Ethan a letter.
Sleep in.
Yeah. Well, we got to like rest. Yeah. I wrote Ethan a letter that morning. Fun fact, it never got to Ethan. We discovered it in like, we found it in our wedding decor box. And he was like, what is this? And I was like, this is the letter I wrote to you that you're supposed to receive on the wedding day. And so he read it like 3 months later. Yeah.
Who was supposed to take? I took the one to your parents.
It's not that big of a deal now. I think just in the chaos of the day, it got lost.
That's so funny.
But anyways, I wrote him a letter that morning. I think I like prayed that morning, like did some other things.
We had like worship music playing that morning.
It was very peaceful, which I feel like is the way to do a morning like that. Because I didn't know. I was like, am I going to want to listen to like hype girl music, or like am I going to want to listen to worship music?
You were literally laying on the floor in our living room.
Yeah. And I was like, I need worship music today. But pretty much, I mean, that's all I remember from before we left the apartment. So
yeah, that was pretty much that.
Yeah.
There wasn't a whole lot. I just remember I was forcing you to drink water and eat something. Like eat like fruit and stuff, because I was like, you're not going to eat the rest of the day, so please just eat something.
Yep.
I think I made you an egg. A singular egg.
A singular egg. But yeah, we left our house. I don't know what time it says. I'm referring to our...
It was like 10 or something like that.
Thing. Yeah, we probably left at 10. There was actually a marathon happening downtown that same morning.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that.
And traffic was so bad. Like, I remember being so nervous because we bumped up last minute. We told the bridesmaids to get there, I think, an hour or half hour earlier. And I'm so glad we did that because that traffic was rough.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and you had, I'm chewing.
Me too.
One of your bridesmaids was staying in downtown Nashville where the race was. So we were like,
I was like, bro,
you need to leave. She kept sending us pictures of her Uber. She got an Uber to the venue.
He would not pick her up.
And it was like estimated time 45 minutes, estimated time whatever. And we were like, just get there when you get there.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
It ended up being great. Like we had plenty of time. But 10 out of 10 recommend. If you have a 30 minutes to spare, bump everything or bump up that time to get there 30 minutes earlier. It
just made it way more like chill. Like we weren't like in a rush to get ready. We were just like vibing. We were having fun, eating snacks. And I feel like it
was a good vibe that morning.
It helped too. Like, I don't know. I feel like when this is like kind of something I'm not like worried about for my wedding, but I'm very much so I want to stay on the timeline. I want to I don't want to get behind schedule, whatever.
That's what I was stressed out about.
And so knowing that like we had that extra time of your wedding of like if something goes wrong or someone needs to touch up their makeup or like your nephew spilling applesauce all over whoever's dress that was. I was having to like scrub applesauce out of a dress.
Things will go wrong. Like I know people try to make it the most perfect day ever, but it's like something will go. There's too many variables, like too many people involved. There's always something. So but I think also, just being chill with that and also having a maid of honor who like doesn't tell you the things that aren't important.
Please take note of that. If you were a maid of honor in a wedding,
spread the drama.
No. Like, and also a good wedding coordinator, because your wedding coordinator would pull me instead of pulling you. Yeah. And I kind of addressed that with her at the rehearsal dinner. I went up to the two girls that were doing the coordinating at your wedding. They crushed
it, by the way.
And I just pulled them aside as we were leaving, and I was like, hey, like, tomorrow I want this to be a stress-free day for Kirsten. So if you need anything, if you have a question about anything, like, come to me. I don't want to stress her out about that. Even like little things. Oh my gosh, the cake, your wedding cake.
Wait, we'll get there.
Well, that was the morning of.
The first thing that happened that I was not made aware of till I think the reception, someone told me, my aunt, who is the florist, her car got stolen.
Oh my gosh.
That morning, she walked out to her car and her car was gone.
From the hotel they were staying at.
Yeah. And so I don't know how she managed to get there. Thankfully the flowers weren't in the car.
Yeah, I was going to say.
All of that was already at the church, but I had no idea that was happening. And she didn't even I thought it was really sweet of her. She didn't even mention it at all. Like
she was all smiles.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
I was like, come on. Okay. So that was the first thing. And then I think the cake was right after that.
So the cake actually, I remember it the morning of, because it was while we were getting ready to go to the venue.
Are you talking about our cake?
Yeah. I don't even know what happened. You would have to explain what happened with it, but.
Okay. No hate to this company. The cake was good itself, but I did have not the best experience. I'm like,
are you name dropping? Or
no, I'm not trying to get sued. And I also will be going back there. Oh. But this particular instance, ordering the cake was a nightmare. They were just like not very nice. And I wanted a white cake with I think all it said was the days on it in white icing, because I've seen like everyone do that on Pinterest, and they were like, well, it won't show up. And I was like, that is the point. Not getting it. You're not getting it. And I like tried, and it just like, they ended up not wanting to do it. And so I was like, okay, just do green, like green icing on it that says the days. So we get the cake. We should show a photo of the cake.
I'll put it on the screen.
Drop the photo. Okay, it's
y'all.
In person,
I gasped.
It looked like a 4-year-old wrote the days on it. Like, it was so bad to the point where I was like, we need to take it off the cake. Well, because it was going to get photographed, and like...
It was less that like the handwriting was like it was like straight, but it was just not like, you don't have a wedding cake with print. Like,
yeah, and it wasn't just like centered. It just looked really bizarre.
The letters were like different sizes,
not consistent. Like, it
just didn't look like a wedding cake. Like, it would have been fine for like happy birthday.
Right. It did not look worthy. And so we scraped it off, or someone did.
Yeah, I texted,
just did white icing on top.
I texted the wedding coordinators and was like, because when you showed me the picture, I was like, Kirsten, I'm on it. Don't even worry about it.
Am I being crazy? No. Am I being a bridezilla, or like, is this bad? And everyone was like, no, this is bad. Like, people were laughing at it.
The wedding coordinator, one of them literally went to the store, bought white icing, and wrote out the days herself. Did it herself. And I was like, just do whatever you have to do. What you do is probably going to look better than whatever this company did. So anyway, that was that.
The cake was good though.
It was delicious.
It was a raspberry vanilla cake with like raspberry filling in between, and then just white icing. It was super good.
Joe and I stole some bites of it. Low key.
He was like, this looks good. We got a lot of compliments on it. But anyways, all that to say, that was the cake fiasco.
I'm trying to think.
I'm trying to get like, in order.
The only other thing that happened that like went quote wrong was there was the race that morning, and then there was an accident that happened on the interstate, but it was like not even the interstate, it's like the highway off the interstate. So it was like what am I trying to say? There were two ways to get to the venue. There were like back roads, and then there was this like highway thing, and there was a wreck off the highway. So everyone was forced to go the back way. A lot of people were late. So there was traffic. So
we had to postpone it like 15 minutes.
Yeah, the wedding coordinator came to me and was like, hey, there was an accident. A bunch of people are going to be late. So I was like, let's just push it. Let's push it 15 minutes. But if it gets here and it gets to be 4:00 and like there's people here, like people are filing through, then like let's just stick with what we had. And so she came in around 4:00, I think, and was like, or no, it was like 3:57 or something like that. And she was like, I think it's past, because like so many people showed up at one time.
At 4, people were zooming in. So I think it was only a few minutes behind it.
Which obviously like that's inevitable that you notice that we're going behind schedule. Right. But we didn't like go to Kirsten and be like, so there's a wreck and there's probably going to be people that are going to be late. It was just like, I can stall Kirsten in the green room for 15 minutes or whatever. Yeah. But
so that point, it was really just a waiting game. Like, because we were a little bit behind, and also because we had delegated so much time, which I'm glad we did in hindsight. But the last like 30-45 minutes, we were just sitting around.
You were antsy,
and
bro.
I was like, guys, I was like physically shaking. Just not because I was like worried about anything. It's just like a big deal. And also you just want to get to that moment. There's so much build. I mean, this was 9 months of build up for this one moment. So it's like, of course you're going to be anticipating it. Yeah. So I was just like pacing and just like shaking and like trying to distract myself. And then like the last 10 minutes I was like by myself. And so I was just
Wait, no you weren't. I was with you.
Were you? Because I thought there was a moment where you had to leave. I mean, you did have to leave at one point.
No, you went with, okay. We went to,
because you had to walk.
But you were with your dad at that point. Yeah. Because we drove on the golf cart, the three of us. Me, you, and your dad. Do you not remember this?
No.
Bro, this is actually...
I felt like I was alone.
This is actually tea. So, her matron of honor was her sister. And the lineup was her sister, me, and then the bridesmaids. And what happened was the golf cart could only fit like 6 people on it or something like that. You had 7 bridesmaids. So, I didn't know that. I was expecting like trying to take the vaccine, let your sister, like she's your blood. So like trying to let her, you know, be the one to like be with you in those moments or whatever. And she ended up getting on the golf cart to go with the other bridesmaids. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to be with Kirsten, which I loved selfishly that we got to have that moment before you got married. It was like just the two of us in the green room for like 15 minutes. And we were like watching all the cars come in.
Yeah.
And I like started to get emotional again, of course, because that's just who I am.
We were waving at the people.
Yeah. And then your dad came up on the golf cart and we got there, but they started the processional. And so your sister, I was supposed to walk down the aisle before your sister because your sister's the last one before you. And she went ahead and walked. And I was like, so do you remember what? Running through the field. Do you remember that?
No.
I literally booked it from the golf cart and walked behind Lauren, but then stood behind Lauren. So she went down before me.
But then you just went to your spot.
And I went to my spot.
I literally had no idea. That's the thing is like you don't even notice all the little things that are not going as planned.
Yeah.
That's funny though.
I remember that so vividly because I was telling Christian the whole time because he was an usher and a groomsman.
He had to lap like 3 times.
I was like, you better not be late. Like, I don't want to walk down the aisle by myself. And then I running up and he's like, really?
He had to walk by himself?
Yeah. No, he didn't walk by himself, but he was like, you were telling me not to be late and literally you showed up late. I was like, I'm sorry. Okay.
That was funny.
That was sweet. But,
yeah. Ceremony.
Yeah.
Ceremony came.
We've not even talked about like, what were you feeling during the ceremony?
Everything at once. It's so weird because at least with a big wedding, I mean, we had probably 225 at the end of the day, like that showed up. We invited 300. So it was like a big crowd of people. I mean, that's the biggest amount of people that are ever come to something like directly for me.
Yeah.
So, and probably will be the biggest thing ever. But it was just very overwhelming. But honestly, like you're not really thinking about the people when you're walking down the aisle. Like you're just really thinking about, oh my gosh, we're about to be married. Like thinking about the other person. And I'm trying to like put myself in that moment. I just was like shaking like a leaf. Like you could probably see it. I was like telling my dad how nervous I was. And just like when I walked down the aisle, I didn't cry like tears, but like I was like crying though in a string. I don't know how that works.
That's how when Joe proposed, like I was crying. I wasn't
though, but I wasn't crying.
Yeah. Yeah.
My eyes were welling up, but like I was like, I do not want my makeup to be messed up. But I was definitely emotional, and Ethan had tears falling off of his face.
Oh my gosh,
so sweet.
His eyes got so blue eyes. I feel like just get very blue when you start to cry.
You can tell when
his eyes were like piercing. I was like, this man's about to be on the floor. Like,
it was really sweet. One thing I didn't realize though is the song that y'all walked to, it ended up not working because we forgot to download it on Spotify.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
What
so
did he
had to play. It was an instrumental of a song, but it ended up not working. So he just like quickly looked up one. It was like the same song, just a different instrumental version. I didn't even notice.
I didn't notice either.
I didn't even hear it. But then the song that Ethan wrote for me walking down the aisle turned on when I walked down, and honestly I don't even remember hearing it either because I was so just like, but I wish I did remember that though. But yeah, we did our ceremony. The wind was like picking up at this point, so the audio kind of like, it was a little bit messed up in some moments, but like it wasn't anything. We were just like whatever. But yeah, we did the ceremony. It was very short. It was like 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. We wanted it to be short. I just am not a fan of a long ceremony. So ceremony, and then we left. It was like just such a surreal moment. Like that's really the only thing that I can describe. And honestly, it took time for it to feel real too. Because, I mean, you've been dating for that long at a certain point, and it's like, I mean, you saying that you're married doesn't necessarily feel like an immediate change, but it did like on our honeymoon. But
I'm like glad you like brought that up though, because you told me that like right after you guys came back from your honeymoon, you're like, I was expecting this life changing feeling
of like wife energy, or just like no, it just feels like it felt like, are we allowed to do this? Like, especially on the honeymoon, it's like, are we allowed to be traveling alone right now?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so weird. But the ceremony itself, it was really sweet, and weather was beautiful.
Yeah.
Reception was amazing. We did cornhole tournament in between. I don't know if there's anything up to that point that you want to add, but
I think, like, I don't know, just as, the ceremony was just so
it was
beautiful.
So precious.
One beautiful, like looks wise, but just like, I don't know, there's sacred. There's something, so like, I've obviously been in, go ahead.
No, you keep going. I was going to add a moment that I liked in the ceremony.
I've been in a lot of weddings just because I have a very big family and whatnot, but like, there's something different about, like, when you're, or not even been in a lot of weddings, but attended a lot of weddings, but there's something so special about, like, when it's someone you're that close with.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how to explain it. Maybe you'll feel it on my wedding day.
I think I will. I think I'll be more emotional for your wedding than I was for mine. Because it is such a big change.
It's just like, and I kind of said this in my speech too, but just like, for so long it's been you and me, and like, we've experienced so much together,
different,
and it's
relationships. The men have been different.
And it's
like our friendship has been,
it's like that moment of, okay, not that Ethan wasn't your person beforehand, but like, there's a new character unlocked. It's like, there's not that we like won't go and do fun stuff together anymore or whatnot, but like, you're now living with him. Like, you're gonna experience things that, like, with him that aren't, obviously, we're never going to experience together.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I don't know, it's just like a bittersweet, like, I'm so happy, but this chapter is closing. But it's like, I don't know, it's just so many emotions wrapped into one. I can't even explain it. But
one moment I did love from the ceremony was we chose to have all of our, we invited all the guests really, but family and friends to come up and pray around us. So we did like a concert of prayer, which was like
so cool.
Everyone prays at the same time. And it was like, it was emotional. Just like hearing people just speak blessings in life over your marriage and just how much they love you. It was like a huge words of affirmation moment.
Yes, all at once. Everybody go.
Which I just wanted to add that was a sweet moment, and also advice to anyone who's engaged or like gonna get married in the future. You don't have to do everything by the book. Like, that's not a traditional thing that you do, and it was something we came up with. We're like, that would be awesome. So that's your sign.
That was super special. And too, like, when everyone came up, Joe ended up coming around and like standing next to me. Aww. So it was like me and Joe and you and Ethan were right there, and I was like, I was like weeping all over again. Oh my gosh. It was so sweet.
But yeah, that was the ceremony. I thought it was really sweet when we all walked out of the ceremony. We all just kind of like hung out in the patch of grass, like outside of the ceremony area, and just like all started hugging each other.
There's just so much joy.
Like, so much celebration. And it was fun for a sec because like that was not programmed. It was just like we were all standing around waiting for the next thing.
It was so sweet.
But yeah, then after that, let's see what happened next. Photos. Oh
Photos.
My gosh. I will say photos was like our least favorite part of the day. Because you're just standing there.
Like couple photos, like all photos, at that point. Or like family photos, bridal party photos. Like
we did. Okay, bridal party photos and some family photos were before the ceremony, but then we did as few as we could after the ceremony. So like we did ours together since we didn't do a first look. Ethan and I together after ceremony, and then we did full family photos, full bridal party, and it was just like it was a lot. But I'm glad we did it. You kind of just have to deal with it. But
the bridal party
we got to
photos?
a point where we were like, we're done.
The bridal party photos took like 5 minutes.
No, that was the shortest part. The family stuff took a long time because there's so many people. You could go forever. But, that was still sweet. So, did photos. And then after that, Ethan and I went to have like our private moment. So we like went in a room in the church and just ate together and processed the day. That is, I think, what I'm like not most excited for, but I'm so excited for that. It was so nice to just like take a breather. Even if it's like we're not talking about anything super significant. Like we were just like, oh my gosh, what just happened? And also we need a break from people. So we did that. And then during that time, they were doing a cornhole tournament, which I heard actually really good feedback. And that's not a traditional wedding thing either. It was like y'all's wedding was like,
because you were saying something about doing a cornhole tournament or something like that at our wedding, and I was like, that was just the vibe of y'all's wedding.
Because it was like springy. Yeah. Everyone's wearing these ruffly dresses.
It was just like
colorful everywhere.
You had to be there.
It was just like, it was it.
Yeah.
And we can like add photos here and there in this episode, but
it was literally, I think, one of the most beautiful weddings I've been to. Like, genuinely. Everything, like, even while you guys were eating dinner together, because I went to their photos with them. Like, their
she, like, held our stuff.
And fixed hair and whatever, all that kind of stuff. But then, so I didn't eat dinner with everybody. So I ended up going back later and just like walking up to the tent while everybody's just like vibing. It was
like a vibe.
I was just taking pictures with my phone. I was like, even just like there were people just like frolicking in the field and their ruffly dresses. So I was like, this is like the best thing I've ever seen. Like
the sun was like almost setting at this point. It was like golden hour.
It was just like that day could not have been any more beautiful.
Okay.
It was perfect.
Yeah, it was.
Anyway.
So after that, we got to reception, which this leads to like one of my favorite parts of the night. So we did like intros for the bridal party and all that, but then we did speeches. And honestly, like you just never know how speeches are going to go. Like some people just aren't good at it, but other people are really good. So we're like, we think these people will be good at it, but like who knows?
You guys did a lot of speeches
We did 4 speeches and then Ethan spoke.
Yeah.
So every single person hit it out of the park. Like we were both shocked and like it was just so sweet to see y'all's personalities come out and just everyone was so glad to be there. Everyone was like listening. There wasn't like any awkward moment in the speeches. Like it just felt so genuine from every single person. So honestly, like we were in like at our hotel that night and we were like, that was one of our favorite parts of the day was just hearing everyone's speeches. But
that's so sweet.
I don't know if you want to give feedback from that point.
From the speeches part?
Or just like, from that time. Or like if there was anything you wanted to add. Or if not, we can just move to the next thing. But
not necessarily anything else I want to add. I just cried again. I just cried a lot that day.
Lots of tears.
Lots of tears. But all like, I don't know. I like not have a hard time saying that. Like, I don't want people to take that the wrong way. It's just like, it's a good emotional day. Like,
yeah. I guarantee you I will be in a puddle of tears on your wedding. Just because it's different, like, now that I've been through it.
Yes.
And also, it's like, I'm almost reliving what you went through.
Yes. You're processing
it different.
Such a different.
Yeah.
You have such a different perspective.
Yeah.
Again, and walking through as much as we have together, it's just a lot. Yes. When you've walked through a lot and you've seen a lot, it's like, dang, how did we get here? How did we get here? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Next.
So speeches, and then let's see what else happened. I have to look at this to remember.
I think we just went right into
dancing.
Well, when you guys came back from your private moment, you guys did dances first before speeches. Like
yes, we did. I think we had to flip flop them or something happened, but those were really sweet. I mean, I don't really have anything much to add to those, but I think that was the part I was most worried about because I was like, people are staring at us dancing, and I'm not a dancer, but it ended up being sweet.
No, I have like a couple like 15-second videos on my phone from y'all's first dance. I went back and rewatched them like probably like a month after your wedding, and I was like, this is so sweet. It's just like, I don't know, just like I'm a romantic. I love, and so like seeing sweet. You guys, we were like
just so happy,
seeing you guys be in that moment and like just dancing together and just like, I don't know, it's mushy gushy, but I love it. I eat it up.
It was sweet. I feel like it's more for the people watching.
You guys are like, are we done yet?
Right now, people looking at us. But also you're like holding, oh my gosh, this is sweet. We're married. Yeah. Kind of feeling. But
also you just like, you guys looked so good. Like okay.
You did.
Can we talk about your dress for a second?
The dress was dressing.
That was like.
It was the most me dress.
Yes.
Like I could ever have found. It was one of the last ones I tried on too. Like every single one before that was like pretty, but it like wasn't it.
Like just the vibe of the wedding and everything, like
fit perfectly.
Everything fit so together. I literally don't know how you pull it. Like makes me nervous for my wedding. I'm like, I hope everything pulls together like that.
I remember pitching it to everyone, and I was like, y'all just gotta trust me, bro.
The vibe,
like trust the process. And everyone's like, okay, and it turned out great.
Was like literally Yeah, that dress was like, you could not have picked a better dress.
I don't think I'm gonna sell it. Like, I know some people do, but like, I want potentially my children to wear it.
I literally went through and saved some of the photos of you.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I sent some in the group chat. I was like, can we just talk about how beautiful Kirsten is?
Slay.
It was just like,
with my tan, like, it just looks so good.
Everything was amazing.
Yeah. Ethan's suit looked great too.
Yes.
Great. The green was a move.
Mm-hmm.
So all around it was very successful. Mm-hmm. Dancing was super fun. One of our friends DJ'd the wedding, which was hilarious, and it was just like a fun group of people. Mm-hmm. When you have like younger friends, and then also like people in student ministry just know how to get down.
They do.
They'd have so much energy.
Youth pastor energy.
We sang Mr. Brightside at one point. This was one of my favorite moments. Yes. Someone like pulls out a chair in the middle of the dance floor, and I was like, whatever's happening, I don't want to do it. And they were like, trust us. And so I got on the chair, and they like raised me up in Mr. Brightside, and it was like the most iconic moment ever.
I want that to happen at my wedding. That was like the best.
It was awesome.
It was, again, not planned.
No.
Someone just pulled it over, and everyone was like, yeah! We're all like screaming, like Kirsten's like up above everybody else.
It was great.
Oh, it was so funny.
I think the only thing that went wrong in that time was we had too many songs planned for the reception because of how things were like going behind a little bit. So, I mean, we would just like go up to the DJ booth and press skip. And people were like, what?
It was so chill. Like,
but it was like so chill. People didn't care. Mm-hmm. They were still dancing. And like, we did at the very end, we ended up cutting it short as well. I think the last 10 minutes were a Flow Rider finale, which was not something that's normal either. But we were like, how so fire would it be if we went out with a bang? Like, who doesn't like Flow Rider? And my grandma got on the dance floor. She's 80 something years old.
You're like, Grandma, you don't know what this song is saying.
Bro,
anyway,
it was so fun though. And I mean, just all around, it never felt like there was a lull in the day. Like, everything was just like, everyone was so hype. Everyone was just so celebratory. It was perfect.
Vibes were good.
Yeah. And we did like a firework or sparklers exit. So pretty traditional there. But yeah. That was the day.
That was like,
we did a solo first dance as well after Flow Rider. But
last dance.
Yeah, last solo dance.
Yeah.
Everyone left to set up the sparklers.
Which I went through and looked at your wedding photos again. And some of those photos, you never posted them, but the photos of you guys leaving, I was like,
I know, I'm trying to save some.
So hot. I was like, what the crap?
I know. Carrie did such an amazing job, our photographer. But she's
so good.
I remember just being freaking exhausted.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, by the end of, I loved our solo dance at the end, but we were exhausted. Yeah. Like, we were like, we're ready to go home.
Yeah.
And our feet hurt like no one's business. I remember us after this is fast forwarding a little bit. When we got to the hotel, we were walking on our heels. It hurt so like down the hallway. I took off my shoes. He was walking barefoot. Like, we were walking on our heels because our feet hurt so bad.
Jeez.
So very non-romantic. Ending to the day.
That's so funny. And then after you guys left, it was like go time. Everyone just started tearing down. And
did people jump in that like weren't?
And honestly, like even that was fun.
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't think that like cleaning up would be fun. Scoot in a little bit. You're on the edge of the thing. But like just the crew that was there tearing down.
Who was there? Do you know?
Primarily.
Like, did you not know who they were?
It was, there were some people there. I don't know if I'll remember their names, but like primarily Carson and Abby that you guys met in a previous episode. Carson and Abby were there. They were the people that I like primarily tore down with. And like we couldn't get the doors to lock at the church, and so Carson and I were trying to figure out how to lock the doors for like 30 minutes. We couldn't get it locked.
That'd be my last
it
reason.
Was like,
I would be like,
we were, and so it was like 10:30 at this point. We were like, we literally don't know what else to do, and they didn't know the campus pastors, and you guys, we weren't about to like call you guys at your hotel like,
can you set the alarm and left.
I think that's what we ended up doing. I think they asked like one of the other campus pastors that they knew or whatever, and we're like, what do we do? And they're like, just leave it. We'll figure it out.
Oh, good.
So we set the alarm. But like even that was fun. But then the drive home that night for me, I also cried the entire drive home. It was just so sweet. And then like, that's funny. Yeah, I remember like from that point on with like y'all's honeymoon and stuff, I'm not about to be that person that's like texting you every second, like whatever. But I do remember the next morning you texted me and you were like, I miss you. And I was like, I was like, frick, bro.
It was like the next morning, it was just such another beautiful day. Like the entire weekend was just amazing. But yeah, we also, side note, from our caterer, we got a note in our box that like came home with us from them. And it was the sweetest letter from them, just like saying how beautiful the wedding was. They're like, we loved seeing like a God-centered marriage. It was one of the most beautiful weddings. Aww. And we were just so thankful to like be a part of it. And I mean, they didn't have to do that.
Weeping.
But they left us a crap ton of food. I don't think we ate it the next morning, though. I think we ate it the night of our wedding. But I just remembered that. But yeah, we left for our honeymoon that morning, and it was beautiful. And it was so like, it was almost an even better feeling like waking up, because it was like, okay, this is like our first day like being married. And just like the
I cannot wait for that.
It's almost like the honeymoon phase just like starts over, because it's like this whole new outlook on life. It's like, this person is never leaving. This person is stuck by my side forever.
Yeah.
And just like driving to our honeymoon was actually really fun.
Yeah.
I mean, we just like talked the whole time.
Yeah.
I think we like watched shows together too, but it was just a very sweet morning waking up. Yeah. I remember that distinctly.
That is so sweet.
And you should get a nice hotel on your wedding night, because I mean, we probably will never be able to afford a room like that ever again. But it was so nice. Like we had a view of downtown, so I like opened the curtains and it was just,
you're like
the whole skyline. I was like, take it in, we're never coming back here. But it was
go back
awesome.
for your like 10-year wedding anniversary or something, you know?
Probably.
That's what we're trying to do. We're like, where can we scrape around in the budget to like get a really bougie hotel the night of?
You should.
I think we're gonna do it. It's worth it.
You totally
It's a one-time
should.
Thing, you know?
Yeah.
It's the first day of the rest of your life.
Live
Go
it
all
up.
out.
Live it up.
That's so much fun.
So yeah,
Dang.
that was wedding morning. But yeah,
I don't really think there's anything else.
No, unless we want to talk about some of the honeymoon. But
yeah, where'd y'all go?
Just keep it short. So we went to Charleston for a week, and we drove there. We didn't fly. We had an Airbnb. It was like a really small but cute, like 2-bedroom house, or it might have been 3. No, it's 2-bedroom. 2-bedroom, really small house. It had a hot tub in the back, and we really weren't there that much. Like we were just out exploring most of the days, and then going to the beach. What else did we do? We bought like a Switch at one point. I mean, just like explored all of Charleston, and it was one of the most fun trips I've ever been on. And I think it was more so because that feeling of like, oh my gosh, we just got married. Like, this is so surreal. We've been like wanting this for so long.
Go to restaurants.
Yeah. And just like that feeling of like, I can't believe we're allowed to do this.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I think that's one of the benefits of not living together before you're married, is just having that it just magnifies that experience.
Yeah.
And makes it even more sweet of like, oh my gosh, we live together now. Like, we share everything together now. So, I mean, I would recommend the Airbnb we stayed in. It was great, and explored the beaches, explored the city, did some shopping. Yeah. That's so a short summary of Charleston.
Yeah.
But it was a good balance of like being a nice place to vacation and not breaking the bank. Because some people, I mean, it depends on your budget. Like, y'all are doing more of an expensive one than we are.
Well, I think it's ending up being the same amount though, because ours is like all up front. We won't have to pay anything when we're there.
Ours, like, for transparency, our honeymoon, like all in with like Airbnb and food and experiences, was like $2,000. That was our budget. And I think we hit it pretty close. So yeah.
Ours
I don't
is
know
about,
how much else is.
Ours is about, because we're getting our flights for free, because we did the
right.
We got a credit card and put our expenses on there and like paid it off with our budget.
We did that as well.
So we are getting
Southwest.
Yeah, we're getting free flights for our honeymoon, so that's saving us a ton of money. So I think all in will probably be around like $1,800. It might be cheaper.
Oh wow. That's awesome.
But we're going to an all inclusive resort. So like we're not like when we go there, we don't have to pay for anything. So it's like way more upfront. Whereas like you had like went shopping there. So there was like stuff that you did there and whatnot.
Right.
But we wanted to just go somewhere and relax because we're getting married right before like all the holidays, and like with work it's going to be really busy for both of us, so we were like with a wedding and everything, it'd be nice to just go somewhere and like relax, and like
that'll be super nice. It depends like what your vibe is. Like we wanted to go somewhere and explore and like be out and about, but like in their case that makes way more sense to just go somewhere and simply do nothing and just chill,
veg out, go to the beach. We're going to Mexico, that's where we're going on our honeymoon. It'll be fun.
It's great.
But yeah,
any other wedding updates from you guys? Since we're on the topic of
on
the
the
wedding,
topic,
how many days are we out?
We are 104 days.
Almost 100 days? That's crazy.
That's crazy. But at the time of recording this, our 2-year anniversary is tomorrow. And then we get married in almost, we're at like 3.5 months right now. A little under 3.5 months now. Nothing really huge right now. I think I had mentioned this to someone, but like we're at the point now where we've like booked all the big stuff for the wedding that like even if we didn't get all the little details figured out, like we'd still have a wedding. And so it's like getting to that point where not like wanting to rush this season, but it's like dang, we're so close to being married. And that's like, I was telling you this a little bit before we started recording, but I think that's like brought a new excitement to like, not that our relationship wasn't exciting, but like it just, that anticipation was like, oh my gosh, like we're almost married is like, it's just crazy.
It's so fun.
I'm so excited.
I'm excited for you guys. It'll be a fun season. There's a lot of weddings happening these next few months.
Yeah, you're going to be freaking busy.
Yeah, but we're going to get through it. We're going to get through it. We're going to Mexico too in September with Karsten and Abby.
Wait, I didn't know y'all were going to Mexico.
We're going on a cruise.
Yeah.
So
for some reason I thought you were going to the Bahamas.
That'll be right before the chaos begins. What?
I said I thought y'all were going to the Bahamas for some reason.
No, I think it's Cozumel and Cayman Islands.
Oh, nice.
It's like very quick.
That's like the area we're going cruise. Just north of there for our honeymoon.
Or it might be a 4-day cruise. I don't know. It's very fast.
Yeah. That's so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a very busy fall.
Stay tuned.
We're like in we're getting to the point where now it's like there's something for our wedding like every month now. Like, which is very fun, obviously. But it's like, I don't know, I feel like that's going to make time go by faster. Is that how it felt for you? Because you guys got to that point too. It was like once you were like 4 months out, it was
we had 3 bridal we had like a joint bride and groom shower for most of them. We had 3 showers. So each month it was like leading up like January, February, March. And then I don't think we had one in April. Or maybe it was
but that was the
March,
wedding.
April. But yeah, April was the wedding month. So we
and your bachelorette was December. So it was like
so it was like boom, 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 which helped like speed things along at that point. Because the first half, it was like we honestly like weren't even thinking about how far away it was because we were like, it's just so far away. But then 4 months out, it was like, dang, it's flying by.
Yeah, that's kind of how like where we're at right now. A friend of ours made the comment. This wasn't accurate. She had her math wrong, but she made the comment. She was like, "There's like 11 more Fridays until y'all get married," and I was like, "What?
Only 11 more Fridays?
What
of being non-married?
That is like." And then you're married the rest of your life. And like you're starting your own family.
Cray.
That is just wild. I'm so excited. We're in our married era.
They're gonna be like, what's going on? I think that's it. I feel like that's a good overall synopsis.
Would there be any advice you'd want to give to somebody about their wedding day? You kind of had advice sprinkled in throughout there, but something you wish you would have done on your wedding, or something that you did that you would suggest other people do?
I feel like we did a lot on our wedding that we wanted to do. I think it's important to like put you and the groom first when it comes to decisions and like things that you want to do in the wedding, because there will be so many opinions, and like yes, it's important to factor in those, and you should like take into account those things, but at the end of the day, like it's y'all's wedding, and like it should be your dream day and like what you want it to be. And I'm glad, like looking back, I was like, I feel like we did a great job of balancing both, of like putting like listening to family input and friends input and even people who weren't even friends and family input.
You're like, why do you have a say?
And then also like factoring in our own wants. And I feel like we'd had a good compromise.
Yeah.
But still, it was like our dream wedding, honestly. So I would say that. Trying to think of like anything else I didn't say. I feel like one other piece of advice too, and I know this is kind of a rarity, is like having coordinators and photographers and videographers that you know personally. Like all of ours were friends of ours, and so it made us feel way more comfortable on camera. And also like I felt like I could tell my coordinators anything. I felt like there was no like weirdness when it came to that. And everyone kind of knew each other as well, which really helped. But I know it's not like the case most of the time.
Not everyone can do that. But
if you can, it helped so much, like with nerves in the day, with like stress. I just trusted everyone more because they were actively in our lives. Yeah,
that's sweet.
I think that's pretty much it though.
I was going to say this. It was when you were talking about, like when we were talking about things going wrong the day of the wedding. Like if I've obviously not gotten married yet, but from being in weddings, my experience is that like if your priority with your wedding day is not just like throwing a big party, but like your priority is I'm getting married, like then the things that go wrong, like it doesn't matter at that point. Like I think that's kind of the perspective that Joe and I have, is like if everything hits the fan and whatever, like we are still getting married no matter what. And like, that's what I care about. So that's why I'm like getting to the point with like bridesmaids and stuff. I'm like, I don't care what you do anymore. Yeah. I'm not going to be looking at you anyway, respectfully.
It really doesn't matter what the bridesmaids do.
Yeah. Like stuff like that. Just keep your eye on the prize.
Yep.
Eye on the prize.
Big facts.
Yeah.
I think that's it though. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you want more wedding content, let us know.
We got plenty more. We got a whole other wedding.
It's interesting to like hear different details, like the cost of things, or like just transparency about like the timing of things or anything like that. So if y'all want to know more, I mean, we could probably share more information. But
that would be a cool episode to do, like a breakdown of like reality, what normal people spend on weddings.
Yes, not like an extravagant wedding,
because that's been so not like hard or difficult, but like the comparison game.
You see so many insane extravagant weddings on Instagram, and it's like,
how did you afford that?
To be honest, 90% of the world cannot afford that kind of wedding. It's not normal. But it's so normalized on social media, so it could be interesting to give like a...
That would be fun.
I agree.
Maybe that's the next episode we do.
Perhaps
a wedding
cost
guests, breakdown. Oh yes.
Or we could put this one in alignment with that one, so like a part 2. So we'll see.
Who knows? So whatever podcast, we'll do whatever we want.
That's right. I support this message.
All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in.
See you later.
See you sometime. Bye.
Peace out.